The January 28, 2026 regular meeting of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency meeting is called to order at 5 p.m. I have asked Director Walsh if we could all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
There's a mic there, isn't it? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Approval of the agenda. Could I? Okay, thank you. And a second, please.
I'll second.
Right. Roll call, please.
Director Sauer,
Aye.
Vice Chair Walsh,
Aye.
Chair Segovia,
Aye.
Director Russo,
Aye.
and Director Herrick.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to public forum. Public testimony is permitted at this time for the following sections of the agenda: presentation and introduction, information, committee reports, consent calendar, and any other matters within the agency's subject matter jurisdiction that are not included on the posted agenda. Do we have any public comment?
I don't have any clients.
Okay,
Who's your most likely person to have a comment?
moving on to presentation and introduction. Is it Ralph Curiel?
Yeah.
Oh, certainly. Okay, a 5-year recognition, David.
Yeah, so Ralph actually couldn't make it tonight. He's got daddy duty. So he couldn't make it tonight, but Ralph is a grade 2 operator who has proven himself to be extremely reliable, consistently ready to complete all assignments efficiently and effectively. He's highly dedicated and has developed strong understanding of our process involved in the operating a wastewater treatment plant. Ralph is often first to volunteer, I like that, for additional responsibility, willingness to work overtime, and ready to adjust his schedule as needed. He is committed to going above and beyond for the agency and is truly commendable. And we are very proud of his work ethic and dedication. So congratulations, Ralph. We'll see this video later.
Okay, moving on to item 6, information and committee reports. General manager's report, David.
I don't really have anything to highlight for the actual general manager's report, but I am available for any questions.
No questions?
We can't discuss it yet, right? The electrical agreement?
The electrical grid?
No, not yet. It's not ready. It's not on the agenda.
All right, so we will move on to Replenish Big Bear report.
And the only thing that I wanted to highlight on the Replenish Big Bear report is I did have a conversation with the EPA, with the Alone Group. And of course, they were wanting to know more information about why we have to move forward with the agreement. And I kind of told them that we did get a new cost estimate that was a bit higher than the original. I told him, I said, but at this point, the board hasn't taken any action with regard to the project itself. We're just moving forward with the design. And he said that that if we desire to go forward with Whitby loan, that they could accommodate the additional loan requirements, meaning if we needed to go to a higher amount. So just wanted to report that out.
No word was made.
Maybe able to, I mean, you just never know, right, with the say current climate administration, what could change, but.
And I did notice here that on the out of the 3 grants that are listed, that the second grant, it's recommended that since we don't have a clear path to construction, that would be the one that could potentially be subject to repayment.
Yeah, so Title 16 is subject to repayment, so we're opting not to draw on that. Because part of the conditions of that grant is that we go with the construction. So we're opting not to draw on that.
It's probably wise.
Just a, I'll call this a footnote, with SB Sarah, excuse me, with SBCTA, too many acronyms.
There you go.
With these major projects that are construction projects that in the hundreds of millions, $500 million, they're actually coming in under the estimates right now, which is, I think that's telling to what the future holds. But I think people are getting a little more hungry for some of these bigger jobs. And so, I mean, to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars under
Wow.
What the estimates were. So
Nice.
I don't know if that'll fall through with possibly with Replenish, but it was an interesting footnote for me that I wanted to share. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other members of the board have any questions about the replenished breaker report? No. All right. Moving on to consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar will be enacted by one motion at the appropriate time. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If a detailed discussion is necessary, any governing board member may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately. Are there any, does any member want to remove anything from the consent calendar? Any item?
No.
All right, could I have a motion and a second to move the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion. I'll move.
A roll call, please.
Director Russo,
Aye.
Director Sauer,
Aye.
Vice Chair Walsh,
Aye.
Director Herrick,
All right.
and Chair Segovia.
Aye. Okay, we have no old business. Moving on to new business, item A. This is a public hearing for Assembly Bill 2561, local public employees vacant positions, and this is an informational item only. There will be no vote. Sonia, take it away.
Thank you. This item is to satisfy the Assembly Bill 2561 requirement to report annually on agency vacant positions. The agency has no changes to policies, procedures, or recruitment activities that negatively impact the agency's efforts to reduce its vacancies. The agency has one vacancy and is actively recruiting for the maintenance worker position. That includes.
You. All right, do any board members have any questions about this item? Any public comment?
We have to open the public hearing.
Oh, open, yep. I will open this at 5:08. Public comment. Gone. Close the public hearing at 5:08.
Thank you.
And any other board discussion? Larry?
I did see the ad in the paper. Did that close last week?
No, the last application is due Friday.
This Friday.
This Friday, okay.
This one. All right, I guess that's it, right?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Item B, resolution number R01 2026, the resolution of the governing board of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency rescinding resolution number R16 2023 and amending resolution number R9 2023, adding the assistant general manager board secretary as a signatory for the agency's U.S. bank accounts. Christine.
So real quickly, the reclassification of the administrative services manager to assistant general manager requires updating the signatory authorization for the agency's U.S. bank accounts. to reflect the title change. And I'm pretty much this.
Okay, questions?
Is this all bank accounts in the US or is this US bank?
I said the US bank accounts. US
That's where,
bank core.
that's where we're keeping our money.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, we,
The bank called US Bank.
we have some in LAFCO as well, but
Leaf.
And
That Lease,
Lease, but
yeah.
that's it.
I mean, Lease.
There's no checks.
there's no checks.
Any other board questions? All right, do we have any public comment on this item? No, all right, can I have a motion and a second to approve this item?
I'll make a motion. I'm sorry.
Was that Director Sauer for the motion?
Yes.
And Herrick? Thank you.
Okay, roll call.
Director Herrick?
Aye.
Vice Chair Walsh?
Aye.
Director Sauer?
Aye.
Chair Segovia?
Aye.
And Director Russo?
Aye.
Okay. Introduction and first read of ordinance O 01-2026. Bridget.
Senate Bill 707 requires that during teleconference meetings, any time general public comment period has to remain open for its full duration, even if there is no public comment. Under our current ordinance, this would require keeping a 30-minute general public comment period opened at every teleconference meeting, creating unnecessary delays. Staff recommends limiting the time general public comment period to in-person meetings only, and for teleconference meetings, allowing a reasonable amount of time for public comment to ensure compliance while maintaining efficiency. And that's the end of my presentation.
All right. Do we have any questions from the board? All right, any public comment?
On this item? Yeah. Okay.
I'm never for restricting public comments because the public has a right. This is a community here and we have a right to have our input. So I don't know why you would be restricting our public comments. So I'm totally against it. Thank you.
All right, no other public comment?
Bridget, could you explain it one more time?
Yeah, it doesn't restrict public comment. It's only during teleconference meetings. So when the public comment period is over, we can continue business rather than leaving the meeting open for 30 minutes when no one is speaking.
All right, so I pictured us just sitting around for 30 minutes, waiting for 30 minutes to pass,
Correct.
right?
Yes,
So we're not changing, anybody can speak
that is correct.
for their length of time that they're allotted to speak.
Mhm.
And we just keep it open as long as there are people speaking.
That is correct.
Gotcha.
And that's only for teleconference meetings, which we don't have very many of.
All right, no other public comment. I'm going to read what I'm supposed to read here. Motion and second to introduce the ordinance and waive the full reading. Reading by title only and direct staff to place it on the agenda for consideration and adoption at a public hearing on February 25, 2026. Ordinance O 01-2026, an ordinance of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency Code amending section 2.04.040 of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency Code regarding time limits on public testimony at governing board meetings. Right. Any further discussion from the board? No? Okay, roll call, please.
I need a motion to.
Don't you want a motion? I'll second.
Walsh and Russo? Okay,
To waive the first reading or waive the full reading. Title only.
thank you. Vice Chair Walsh?
Aye.
Director Russo?
Aye.
Chair Segovia?
Aye.
Director Herrick?
Aye.
And Director Sauer?
Aye.
Good, thank you. All right, item D, allocate $146,498 from the contingency fund and reallocate $243,502 from the force main project to the outfall line investigation project. David.
Yes. So during the December 17, 2025 board meeting, the board directed me to move forward with the investigation of the outfall line. Just as a reminder, the outfall line was put in the seventies. And it's a little over 16 miles of pipeline. It's constructed of a steel coated pipe with a concrete mortar inside. The goal of the investigation is to determine the condition of the existing line. It's actually about 50 years old now, so that's about where a useful life would be for that line. There are several evaluation methods being discussed to find the most cost-effective method to complete the evaluation. It is expected to take between 18 and 24 months, depending on permitting, weather conditions, and other challenges. We have included a cost estimate for the investigation and a recommendation to allocate funds to start the process this year. Immediately, actually. The project has been moved forward up on our priority list in the capital improvement plan adopted last year. The recommendation is to allocate $164,489 or $98, excuse me, from the contingency fund and reallocate $243,502 from the force main project to the outfall line investigation project planning and engineering phase for 2026 and program $1,350,000 in the FYI capital improvement plan for investigation and the construction phase of this work. With that concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
All right, do you have any questions from the board on this item?
Did you just say 146 or 164?
$164,498.
It's 146, they can be transposed.
Oh, did I transpose?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. 146.
146, 498.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any public comment on this item?
This is the Lucerne Valley line, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Isn't the whole idea for Replenish to keep the water in the valley? That's the whole idea. Then why are we pumping 2 million gallons a day on the average down to Lucerne? It seems a little crazy, and there's got to be a better way to dispose of this water rather than send it to Lucerne. Just my comment.
Anybody else want to speak on this item? No, okay. All right, I'm looking for a motion and a second to.
Question.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Under investigation and construction phases, construction that is uncovering the portion of the pipe you need to get to.
So depending on which method is taken advantage of or for investigation, we'll likely have to uncover the line, weld the saddle on the outside of the line, bore a hole, stick a camera down, camera the line in both directions, and then plug that and back to the line. Go.
And when that takes place, you have to shut the plant down.
It will have to shut the plant down. We can't pump during that period. Yes.
And there's enough storage here that you can shut it down for, I don't know how long it would take to dig the hole and get into it. But let's say 3 days.
The coordination effort between the contractor and our crew will be simultaneous. So we'll be able to shut it down while they're doing the investigation. We'll probably do it during months that are lower flow and be able to shut down the line and then do any work that needs to take place and then turn it back on.
Okay, and just to define shutdown, you're still processing inflow, you're just not pumping it out.
All right, we have
Stored.
we have some storage ponds on site that we can store for, well, it depends on how many days, but how much flow we're getting in, but usually like having something here for 3 days wouldn't be unreasonable if we needed to, but I would expect this to be one of those where we dig it up, do the saddle, do the investigation work on a particular hole, and then put it back into service right away. So on a daily basis.
And time it when the flow is.
Yeah, and have the John to time it and all that kind of stuff. So
It's only questions.
Okay, and is it looked at in like several different locations, I'm assuming?
yeah, so since we're 16.24 miles of pipeline, we'll have to do quite a few investigation holes to look at this line to get a good idea. Again, we're still going through this process. Most of what we would be concerned with is locations where it changes direction or changes elevation, right? Because that's where you're going to get scouring of the pipe in the internal of the pipe, or when it changes directions. That's where you're going to see the most problem. So we'll probably look at those locations the heaviest. Otherwise, we'll probably, take a couple of sample holes along the line where it's straight and just okay, yeah, that's what it looks like.
And this will be the first time in 50 years.
No, I mean, the line itself part of it was replaced on Camp Rock Road. And so we do have some old pipes from that area that look in decent condition in that area. And it was relocated because Caltrans was doing maybe they were doing a bridge or something like that. We needed to relocate the line, that portion of the line. So we do have some sample locations where it's been done before. But overall, from Camp Rock Road up, I don't think it's ever been viewed or investigated to my knowledge.
And when was the Camp Rock Road thing? I mean, was that even that a long time ago? Decades?
2010?
No, yeah, in 2010.
Yeah.
It was where I was first 13 maybe? I don't know. I haven't.
It's been a while. 15, 20 years ago, something like that. You were here during that process. Yeah. So it's been a while. I don't know the exact date. Sorry. It's been a bit.
Yeah.
It's been a bit.
Okay. Any other questions?
But to sort of follow up on and looking at different sections. I mean, just in my mind, the section, I don't think you can get to it because on Forest Service land, where the pipe is the steepest and the velocity is extreme in that area, wouldn't that be an area of concern? I mean,
we're gonna get there.
You are?
We are gonna get there.
Okay.
And there may be some debate about it, but we do have a permit.
Okay.
And the permit allows us to go in and do maintenance. And hopefully we can use that. Depends on how you already know how long it took me just to get the permit to cover up part of the pipe that goes down, right near Cactus Flats area. It took me 9 years and it was already here. It was already a problem 2 years before I got here. So I'm hoping though that maybe with some finely worded letters from our attorney, we'll be able to get in there and without having too much trouble from the Forest Service.
And generally, most camera trucks can go about 1,000 feet. So you go 1,000 feet. General. Depends.
And likely we might, and again, I haven't gone through this with a fine tooth comb, but we'll probably take sample locations and say, okay, that's pretty representative of this section. I don't have any changing, but the area that you're specifically talking about coming off of the transfer station, right? It's gonna pick up speed coming down that, coming down from the transfer station, right? It probably drops 500-600 feet like that.
Yeah, it's like a waterfall.
Yeah, and then when it does that, that's where you're gonna see that.
Right.
When it gets flats back out.
Okay. With the pressures.
And can you respond to Bob's comment question in that there is no intent to abandon the line? It's still part of the system, and so that's why you're investing
Yes.
$1.5 million.
Certainly. So the line itself is still gonna be in need. It's anticipated to send 348 acre feet per year down there, so we're gonna, recapture 2,200, but there is still something that's above what we could process in a plant that is designed to do, 2 million gallons a day, roughly. A lot of times, right, coming in during the winter season, we'll get 3.5 million gallons a day. We'll try and stage some of that on site, but the rest of it will have to be shipped down back to Lucerne anyways. So we'll continue to use the pipeline for the foreseeable future until someone comes up with a plan that we don't have to do that anymore.
And didn't you also say that in the event of a wet year where maybe the lake's full and you have nowhere to put it and production exceeds where you can store it, it would still need to go down back?
And that would happen as well.
Okay.
So there are still opportunities that this line would still be used, depending on weather conditions, of course.
Any other questions?
Just Larry's thought just triggered something. So if that's the case, you could, there has to be a percentage you could apply to the usage of it. If it's 100% now, in those cases, would drop it down to whatever the percentage is.
Yeah, it would
20%,
be
50%,
10%.
10%.
Yeah, probably 15%.
So it wouldn't be. The
use-
stress on the pipe would be a different animal.
Yeah, the use of it would be a lot lower. Then right now we pump it all the time from this plant. So we don't right now we're not holding anything on site. We pretty much pump out what we get in.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
Okay, could I please have a motion and a second to allocate these funds? Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
All right, so please.
Director Russo,
Aye.
Vice Chair Walsh,
Aye.
Chair Segovia,
Aye.
Director Sauer,
Aye.
and Director Herrick.
All right.
Okay, moving on to item E, allocate 75,000 for the investigation of North Shore pump stations 1, 2, and 3, and the lake pump station from the contingency fund. David.
yeah, so when the board chose to reprioritize the outfall line, as they just did, one of the projects that had to be delayed was the replacement of the North Shore pump station. To ensure the integrity of our system, we are recommending advancing the investigation phase of this project. And for economy of scales, we would also like to include investigation of other components, that being of pump station 1 and 2 and the LPS header at LPS. So this will help us better understand the current condition and the risk and the remaining useful life of each of those stations, and the header itself, any issues that we have there. We will be utilizing an advanced underground 3D modeling technology, help us better understand the current situation. That's basically like a ground penetrating technology. We are recommending the board allocate, I don't want to get the number wrong, $75,000. I want to make sure I didn't transpose numbers this time. For the investigation work with the North Shore pump stations 1, 2, 3, and the lake pump station from the contingency fund. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
John?
How long has it been since anything has been done to these 3 stations?
There's a constant maintenance on all 3 of the stations themselves. The concern that I have is the flooring of the dry well is a little curious when our crew goes down there. It moves around a bit, meaning that there's probably some void spaces underneath the floor itself. And so obviously being on, let's say, next to the lake, that's a big concern for us. We don't want to lose any sewer water. And so that's why we're asking to push this investigation work forward. So we better understand the situation that we're in with that floor and the dry well. And the dry well is basically where the pumps are housed to pump from that pump station to the next pump station and finally to the plant.
Okay, any other questions?
And are these the same wells that we've been borrowing when we had emergencies? I had the 3 force main failures. I thought there was reference to we were going to borrow from the.
I don't recall if we ever taken money from this particular work. To my knowledge, I don't recall that. And I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, but I don't recall ever taking money from this investigation work or from the replacement of this. We have been looking at these projects for a little bit. They've been on our 5-year CIP plan. It's just again, reprioritizing the line. I want to make sure that we're not in a bad situation with these locations.
And how long will this work take on this?
I'm expecting probably midsummer we should have a full understanding where we're at with those.
Okay.
Was it Water Systems Consulting that established these amounts? And are you confident there'll be enough?
I mean, of course, things can change, but we did have quotes for this modeling or 3D, the 3D ground penetrating radar. We did have quotes, and so we escalated those were a couple of years ago. We've escalated those, but we are still waiting for actual quotes from the consultant that's going to do the work. But again, we escalated it forward. We'll feel confident that we should be able to cover the radar for sure with that amount.
Okay.
Are some of the pump stations like better than others, or is it basically one that's really best and you check the others, or?
I mean, what we're seeing in 3 is, a little worse than what we're seeing. 2 is starting to show similar signs. 1 hasn't shown any of those signs that, to my knowledge, unless John wants to correct me for that. We haven't seen that, but again, since we're there, we're going to do all 3. But 3 seems to be at the worst at this point, with a floor that feels unsettled. That's the biggest concern for us is that floor is unsettled, and we want to make sure it houses all of all the pumps, or actually it's 1 pump, right? 2 pumps back up. So we want to make sure that whole piping system and pump, it doesn't move or doesn't go anywhere, and that floor being a little unsteady makes us kind of, well, that's time. Okay. So I would say 3 is probably the worst in a situation that's, that we're going to look at right away, and 2 is starting to show signs.
So they do like one at a time? Is there fluid comes out, does all 3 at once, or how does that work?
That is our desire, to actually have the crew come out. Maybe it will take several days, but they'll come out and actually do all 3 at the same time. They'll just go one to the other to the other. It's
okay.
like that.
All right. Okay, can I, let's see, do we have any public comment on this item? No. Okay. Moving ahead, can I please have a motion and a second to allocate $75,000 for this item?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Sorry.
Roll call, please.
Chair Sylvia,
Aye.
Director Sauer,
Aye.
Vice Chair Walsh,
Aye.
Director Russo,
Aye.
and Director Harry.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to item F, 2026 is it Gaeta? Is that how you say it?
Gaeta.
Okay. Lease of 340 acres in Lucerne Valley. David.
Yeah, so as part of the Colorado board WDR permit, it requires borrower to have a lease. The last lease that we did was 433 acres. That was over 20 years ago. That was back in 2005. So the original lease was to Mr. Gaeta's parents. Like I said, back in September of 2005. Since then, many things have changed with the farming environment for Mr. Gaeta. This is Mike Gaeta. He's farming less acreage down there. With the help of Mr. Gaeta, the agency was able to identify the actual portions of the property being used for crops. And based on that, we recommend adjusting the acreage and the lease amount. The lease agreement has been reviewed by our attorney and Mr. Gaeta, and all recommended changes have been included. Previously we've had we have also a provision in there to include the beneficial use for reclaimed water should that project move forward and the board desire to use the water elsewhere. But that concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions.
Yes.
Yes,
Larry.
I thought at one point you said they weren't raising alfalfa because it was cheaper to buy than to grow.
and that, again, that continues to be the case. And he was supposed to be planting some barley over the winter. I don't know what, and so we were informed it was planting barley. I don't know what he actually ended up doing with that, or if that crop actually made it. But he is still interested in growing.
So the lease remains, but he may not be using water.
The lease remains, but he may not be using water. That is his purview to grow. We can only, part of the conditions of the lease agreement is that he grows, but can't force.
And no one else has come out of the woodwork wanting to take over the lease.
Absolutely no one.
Okay.
And we don't want to do that either, so.
And I saw that, so he's gonna be leasing less property
That's true.
and he's removed, there was a mobile home there.
There was a mobile home and that's been removed.
That's good.
Yeah. He's supposed to clean that up too.
And then will there be, like, does the fence have to be moved or anything, or he just knows?
No,
where
we
he's at?
already, we identified the area that he has been using already. Over time, and he actually uses, sometimes he uses less and sometimes he uses, well, he's always used less than what he's been leased. But this is the area that he's forever used. This 340 acres is actually the amount that he's ever used out there. And matter of fact, that's the permit requirement, is that 340 acres. So sometimes it's 190, sometimes it's 340, but over time, we've identified the area that he's used at any time during his lease.
It's probably good to get that cleaned up, get his parents off. I didn't know who the other two names were, so I'm like, oh, why are these people not here anymore?
Yes,
So probably good to get that cleaned up.
it is good to get that cleaned up.
Yeah. All right, any other questions right now?
Right.
Okay.
Questions?
Yep.
As far as the water flow is concerned, I mean, he won't grow anything if there's not enough water going down there. And the quality of the water would totally change too if we have replenish in those occasional times it needs to be used. Does that change anything? And is he on the hook for a payment regardless of water supply?
There is a provision in there for if we send less water downtown, there is a provision for him to lower his payment in that. As far as the quality of water itself, I don't think it probably wouldn't affect his growing ability with far as the quality of water. Because normally when we're sending water down there, under those conditions, it would have, say, less BOD, less nutrients, right? That's what it would have, is less nutrients. And, but I don't think that would really affect his ability to grow. He still, has in the past occasionally used some fertilizer to get things going in that area. Obviously with rich nutrients in our flow that comes down to him, obviously that's helpful to inspire growth out there. But I don't anticipate, the biggest problem that he has is, we have the lowest flow when he needs it the most. Right? He needs summertime flow and we have more wintertime flow for him. And so that's the biggest challenge for him for growing alfalfa or any crops out there is the time of year that we give them the most water.
I was recently by there and I looked as if something is happening.
Yes.
It's green and
It's green.
yeah, not real green, but it's green
It's green and
in certain areas.
yeah.
That's from the rain.
Not from the rain, but, I was being optimistic.
Yes, allegedly.
At one point, you had discussion about solar panels. Did that all fall through?
That all fell through, yes. They backed out of the lease option that they wanted to take with us. And so they backed it, the company backed out. They apparently executed a lease agreement with somebody else down there. And they kind of put us off for months and months and months and months. And finally, I contacted them and said, well, what are we doing? And are you still interested in this? And they said, they were not interested anymore.
And so the discussion about having to restore it to its pristine desert scrub was related to the solar, or?
No, that was related to if we stopped utilizing the property altogether. And that was an environmental concern that people had, that we would turn it back to its original, say, pristine condition that's out there. But that's what, it was an environmental concern.
Thank you. Last one. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry.
So you mentioned the Colorado Water Board.
Yes.
I believe that's the right terminology. Did you have to go to the Mojave Water Quality Board as well?
No, so the Mojave Water District is just an agency in the area that provides water.
Yes.
The Colorado is our permitting agency that's down there. And so their concern is, what we're putting down there and the conditions onto which we put that water down that area. The other agency that we have a permit with is the Santa Ana, and but they control what's up here and Colorado controls what's down there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have any public comment on this item before I leave?
What does he pay for the leak?
Currently,
Or
I think it's a little over 25,000.
I thought it was 20,
26,000.
and it's going to 12?
Yes.
Yeah.
okay,
Okay, anything else? Word? No? Okay. Could I have a motion and a second to move this item?
I'll move it.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Director Herrick?
Aye.
Director Sauer?
Aye.
Vice Chair Welch?
Aye.
Director Russo?
Aye.
And Chair Segovia?
Aye.
Real quick, Joyce was sitting down when public comment period closed. Would you be able to hear her public comment right now? Sure. Joyce?
So I'm in Bigger City and, I've been seeing more and more development in Bigger Lake with these apartment buildings and they want to be developed and you have all these big plans, but it seems like you want Big Bear City to pay for your Big Bear Lake projects, but this be Replenish, which Big Bear City, we keep trying to tell you we don't want it. We have a super plan here that would be fine as we're growing as well. I suggest you guys get your own plan for Big Bear Lake, where you can put it in the middle, you can get everything you want. You're expanding, and we can keep our plant. And we would just be happy because as we're growing, we'll have a plant that's big enough for our growth. So it would be neat if you guys could just, let's get rid of this GPA agreement altogether. Because we don't need Big Red coming over here trying to tell us what we can do and trying to take away our vote. Because you're trying to do these projects and trying to take away the vote of Big Bear City, which I don't see how you even have the authority to do this, where you can try to vote for this Replenish, where you haven't had the vote and consent of the East community. And so, hey, let's just get rid of this GPA agreement altogether. We can have our own plan, and you guys can have your plan.
All right. Moving on to comments and announcements. General managers, do you have any comments?
I have none.
Governing board members.
The Olympics are coming, go USA.
All right, I will adjourn this meeting at 5:46.
Right.